Hello, this is Jeff Neville for Selective Imagery. If you'd like to skip ahead and go past my introductory slideshow, it kind of shows you folks what I like to take pictures of. Jump ahead to about the 1 minute and 45-second mark, and that should get you close to where we start the real deal here with the video. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Welcome to Selective Imagery. Hello everyone, and welcome to birding with the Nikon Z9 and the 500 and 800 PF lenses. I'm going to share with you some still photography taken at Huntington Beach State Park in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, and with both these lenses, and also some video clips that were taken yesterday on March 21st in the freezing cold weather in Myrtle Beach area, and got some beautiful bird footage. I haven't seen some of these birds in a while, so look forward to sharing it with you. Shot exclusively with the 500 PF. I enjoy shooting video with that lens, more comfortable shooting video with that versus the 800, which I'm still learning on when it comes to video anyway. So enjoy the show. Hope you're having a good morning or evening depending on where you live. Take care. Well, we start off with some Dunlins in flight with their reflections in the water. Now we have a short video clip of tree swallows flying around the surface of the pond. Now the pond level is very low again, like they did last year. There's a lot of grasses near the top. So there's obviously a lot of bugs laying on top of these grasses. So these tree swallows are having a field day gathering food. And this is 4K 120. This is at 50% speed. If I did it full speed, you'd get dizzy watching these birds fly around, for those of you that know how fast swallows can fly. I mean, it seems fast enough even at half speed. But I love watching these birds. Like I said, these are tree swallows, but we also have a large contingency of barn swallows as well. It just seems that the tree swallows are the ones that are more active going after the bugs on top of the water. We're going to move on to a great egret that's found an eel along the grasses. And then we have a pair of pied-billed grebes. A few pictures of them. And then ran into a group of 5, which I haven't seen that many at one time before. And here we have the red-winged blackbird with beautiful color. The great egret up high in the trees. Cormorant looking all happy, just relaxing. great blue heron with a fish. I don't know how it found the fish because it's all surrounded by those grasses, so it must have special vision to be able to find a fish underneath the grass. And here it is popping a small one in its mouth. Now we move on to brown pelicans. And there have been quite a few, and here's a video clip. You see it diving bill first into the water, where it fills its sack with water, tries to, hopefully gets a fish in there, and then it takes off again, and it'll dive again and again and again. I have quite a few videos put together of these brown pelicans. The ones you're seeing here are not old enough to have the breeding plumage yet, which is the white neck with the white on top of the head with the yellow at the very tippity top of the hairline. Here's the diving poses. They don't get the breeding plumage until it takes 3 years for them to get the breeding plumage. And then here's another video clip of one just relaxing in the water. This is very early in the morning. I'd say, let's see, sunrise has been around 7:30. This is probably just before then. The other day, a few days ago, the large alligator that's in the pond actually attacked and ate a pelican, a brown pelican. I wasn't there that day, of course, but I saw some pictures of it. I always like getting colorful shots with the red-winged blackbirds. This one's vocalizing in the thicket of grass. Great egret. You can tell the water is like so shallow right now. And here's some interesting shots of the brown pelican. He's really just taking off to try to dive and get some fish, but he just seems out of control here, like trying to take the turn. So all those pictures you just saw were with the 800. This picture is with the 500. Male merganser. And there'll be a video clip here. And he's just grooming himself. Once again, this is probably at between 7 and 7:30 a.m. On this day, it was darn cold with the wind blowing across the causeway. I mean, the air temp was in the low 30s. I call that my double wide pelican shot. Here's one flying when the sun finally came up and diving in the water to try to get a fish. And here's another video clip. I have quite a few of the pelicans, so hopefully you like pelicans. Here you'll see the perfect takeoff. They're not always so perfect. And we had a flyby of a Juvenile Eagle, which was nice. It was a bit out there, so that's fairly well cropped. This pelican came right at me. This is full speed, hitting the water. Another one dives in. Must have got something small. Another video clip here showing the feeding behavior. You're going to see a breeding adult, I believe, will fly in. There you go, with the white with the yellow on the top of the head, white neck. Now, one of the big differences between the brown pelican and the white pelican is that the brown pelicans always go airborne and they have to dive into the water, or that's what they choose to do. They dive into the water to get their food. Whereas white pelicans many a times are in a group where they're all bobbing their heads up and down like a sewing machine, and they're just dipping their heads under the water, lifting them up, dipping them down, lifting them up, and they get their fish that way. But the brown pelicans have to exert a lot more effort because they're constantly flying in these little short spurts and then diving head first into the water. Here we go again. Now, some of these clips of the pelicans I didn't slow down, others I have, so you're going to see a mixture of actual the real time speed of this bird, and other times I'll slow it down. Now, I think, you know, they choose to slam into the water. I think they probably assume that they stun the fish. If there's any fish in that area, when they hit the water like that, they stun them enough, and they fill lots of times the sack. They come up, the sack is full of water, and it may have some very small fish in there. Right now, a larger fish. Unfortunately, we had the fish kill last year. I don't really think there's any super large fish in here on the pond side anymore. You know, it's you know, fish that are seen to be like a foot or smaller in length. And I have pictures of pelicans when they open their mouth, and you'll see fish that are maybe only 2 inches long, and there'll be a whole, you know, a group of them in the mouth of the pelican. So I've got pictures of white pelicans that have full, very, very large flounders in their sack. Those take a while for them to finagle and figure out how they're going to get a fish that large down their throat. I mean, once they're in flight, it's amazing how low to the water they get. And if you've ever watched them out on the ocean, it seems like they're going to get hit by a wave, but it never seems to happen. They just, I mean, they're very, very nimble when they're in flight. It's when they're first taking off where it's hit or miss. Sometimes it's a bit bumpy. Some of them do it better than others. Let's put it that way. See how it just glides, I mean, effortlessly. Here's a few shots of some teals that were flying. And another shot of some of the tree sparrows, followed by another video of the feeding behavior of these brown penguins. I'll tell you, it's really crazy. You know, at times we've had periods of time where you could have a dozen or more brown pelicans all feeding at the same time, and that just gets plain crazy. Here's a cormorant that managed to get a fish. That goes down pretty good. Now we're moving on to one of my favorite birds, ospreys. What wonderful birds to watch and photograph. And it's tough to photograph them sometimes because they have that, you know, basically the underside, half of it's white, half of the feathers are dark. And then when you're, especially when you're photographing them up in the sky, you know, you're going to be, the difference between the exposure at the sky level and the exposure at the water level could be as much of 1.5 to 2 stops different. There it strikes the water. Unfortunately, it comes up with nothing. Here's a few in flight. Stills. And here is where one got successful getting a fish. Look closely at this shot and tell me the Z9 can't get an eye. That eye is tacked sharp right in between the feathers. It's another video. These were really close to me for the most part this day, and there's no way I would have been able to capture that with the 800 on the camera. They were just too close. And here's just some shots of, you know, how they look when they're prepping to attack. I love the body positions that they take when they're in the sky and they're getting ready to dive bomb. And here's one that, after many unsuccessful tries, manages to get one by the head. And this ends this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment. One of the people that visits thought it might be a good idea for me to cut down or eliminate my lengthy intro, which I, direct you ahead to skip it if you want to. Give me feedback on that. Do you want me to go back to my old introduction, which was very short, or do you want me to leave what I have right now? Appreciate any input you give me. And once again, as I always say, enjoy life, capture some of it, get out there and get your shots, whether it doesn't have to be nature, anything, wedding photography, portraits, street photography, macro photography. Just go out there and get some nice images. Take care, everyone, and have a good day or evening.